Is Caserio playing chess again with potentially signing Nick Chubb?
That would be Sarge. Yes, sir.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? You're tuning into the Texas Tailgate Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Big Sarge. Make sure you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Follow me on the Tick and the Talk at Big Sarge Media. Make sure you are subscribed to the Texas Tailgate Talk Podcast, all one word, Texans Tailgate Talk, and the Texans Tailgate Talk YouTube page. And make sure you follow me on Instagram at Big Star Sports with the Z at the end, because you know we do everything for the gram. And for those of you all in Houston and the surrounding areas, and if you got a look, I don't care if you got a jailbroken Fire Stick, if you got Direct TV, if you got Sling TV, if you got Warner, Time Warner, I don't even know what type of cable services or whatever they're using these days. But if you got any type of services that you use to streaming services to watch, I will be a guest on Sports Sunday on KPRC News 2 Houston, along with sports director Randy McElvoy and their Texans insider Aaron Wilson. And so I was honored to be a part of that. Some very good Texans talk on there, but I was happy to be a part of that. I told y'all, hey man, look, Texans Tailgate Talk, we're doing some things. For those of you all who will be listening to this on the podcast, I want you to know that I'm doing this show live, meaning that when I do this show live, I interact with the supporters of Big Sarge Media and the Texans Tailgate Talk, and the Texans fans who join in. So if you hear me referencing things that are going on, or I'm saying people's name, just know, for those of y'all who are on this audio adventure with me, that I am doing this show live because it had to be done live, because I need to get the reactions right here, right now on what I'm about to talk about. So, hey, Miss Jordan, what's going on? Cedric, Alexis, what's going on? Texans Tangents, what's going on, man? And if y'all can spread the word that I'm about to talk about this. And before I get started, for those of y'all who are watching me, right? For those of you all who could see me visually, and for those of you all who will be watching this podcast on the YouTube channel, Texans Tailgate Talk, all one word, y'all can see I got my hat on. My wife got me two hats that I posted on social media. She got me two hats for our anniversary that has the Texans Tailgate Talk logo on them, and I love them. I almost went to bed in one the other night because I was just like, yo, these things are amazing. So I could not wait. To come on this show and wear it. I know that you all are accustomed to me wearing the cowboy hat, but I don't have the cowboy hat available. Well, it's available. I just don't want to put it on because I like this hat. This hat looks a whole lot better. Starting on Monday, there will be a lot more Texans Tailgate Talk podcast, a lot of Texans Happy Hour. I got a sponsor for Texans Happy Hour. One of my good friends that I went to college with, he owns what do they call the people who make wine? A winery? I don't know. I know people who drink a lot of wine called winos, but I don't know what they call people who make wine. Well, what they call, somebody let me know what they call people who make wine. Anyway, he owns whatever that is, and he's going to sponsor the Texans Happy Hour A winery. Okay. Thank you, Miss Jordan. I appreciate that. He's going to have a he's going to sponsor the Texans happy hour. He sent me 2 bottles of wine. Texas changes their drunks. He sent me 2 bottles of wine that I will show you all on we'll talk about that more on Monday's Texans happy hour. Mini camp is coming up this week. The media will be there will be media availability, I think Tuesday and Wednesday for the mandatory mini camp. Then after that, there will be a long break. And after that, Brandon says whiny people. After that long break, we'll jump right back into training camp, where you can find all your up to the minute, all your up to the minute updates on Texas Tailgate Talk podcast and on my social media page at Big Sarge Sports with a Z at the end. All right, so okay. I don't know if you all have ever sustained multiple injuries, right? I don't know if you all have sustained multiple injuries. I have. One of the reasons why I got medically retired out of the military is because I kept sustaining multiple injuries. And how it happened, one injury led to another injury, which led to another injury, which led to another injury. So my body kept getting injured because I was in the military, and you don't have a long time to let your body heal. And when your body does heal, does it fully heal? Because you got to jump right back out there and do something else and do something else and do something else. And so I partially tore my Achilles in basic training. They told me, hey man, just go on to AIT, which is your training, your advanced individual training, where you go and do your job. In basic training, they teach you how to be a soldier, right? Everybody knows how to be a soldier. When you come to the military, everybody's 11 Bravo. That's it. And 11 Bravo is the MOS for infantryman. Everybody knows how to be an infantryman. So hey, Queena, what's going on? So you come in and everybody learns. And then after you leave basic training, then you go to your school on whatever job you're going to get. So you go basic training, then you go to AIT, then you go to your duty stations, right? And so I partially tore my Achilles in basic training. And so they said, hey man, just pass your PT test and then we'll move you on to AIT. You can get it taken care of there. But when I got to AIT, it got worse. And they said, oh, don't worry about it. They'll take care of it in your first duty station. So when I got to Germany, I'm in they started to try to take care of it, but because I was assigned to an infantry unit, you don't get time. Hey, look, when they say no matter what your job is, you could be human resources, you could be a fueler, you could be a scout, you could be supply. No matter what you are, if you're part of an infantry unit, when they say move, you got to move, and you're going to do whatever they're going to do. So didn't have time to heal there either. So as time went on, one injury led to another injury, which led to another injury. And that injury that I sustained in basic training started to affect the side of the body. So it started, I think, in my left, because I've had surgery on both of my ankles, but I think it was my left Achilles. Let me look at this scar right quick. Yep. Started with the left Achilles. And then after that, I started having knee issues. And then after having knee issues, I started having back issues. And then my back pretty much went out. My L4 and my L5 is almost touching. I got sciatic nerves. I got sciatic nerve issues. So I'm telling you all that, and I'm prefacing all that to say this. There are rumors and reports that former Cleveland Brown running back Nick Chubb is coming to Houston to take a physical. And if he passes that physical, the Houston Texans are looking to sign him. Now, all of that right now is just a rumor. A lot of people are reporting it. And it's just, like I said, it's just a rumor right now. It has not happened. We won't find out until Monday. And my issue is this. Nick Chubb will be, 30 this year? So you're bringing in a 29-year-old running back who's had injuries, right? I think that a lot of you people are caught up in 2022 Nick Chubb when he was second team All-Pro. That Nick Chubb was a monster. That Nick Chubb was a beast. But in 2023, right? Because I made sure that I wrote it down. He tore up his knee completely in September of 2023, week 2. He was out for the season. Came back the next year and he broke his foot in 2024. The foot that he broke was the same leg that he had his knee torn up on. The same foot that he broke in 2024 is on the same leg that he had his knee tore up in 2023. And so now he sustained 2 bad injuries, right? Some people say, oh, it's just a broken foot, Sarge. Oh, I mean, have you ever tried to recover from a broken foot? That's the equivalent to when people say, hey, Sarge, all it was, all Shaq had was a big toe issue. Have you ever tried to, I put it like this. You don't even have to, not now, let's not even do, because your big toe and your thumb is pretty much the same thing. Hey, try to just use your fingers without using your thumb. Use all 4 fingers, but don't use your thumb, and watch how hard that's going to be. That's the equivalent to how you're not had a big toe injury, right? And so that was a major injury. And then Shaq's career, of course, along with whatever else he was doing, pushed him on out the door. But I'm saying that to say this is that 2022 Nick Chubb, I'll take him all day long. All day long. I'm not taking 2025 Nick Chubb. Not. I wouldn't. If I'm the Houston Texans, I would not, especially with the plethora of young running backs that they have. You have Joe Mixon, and then you're going to have the people you're going to have the running backs who are looking to back him up. And so you're going to bring in Nick Chubb, who you say, well, we were only going to use him on like 3rd down, so we're going to use him for a series. Yeah. Until when? Until he gets hurt? You have other running backs on this roster that you can use. I remember when AD, the host of the H-Town Rundown, him and I was on the show together, and I said, hey, Dameon Pierce may not make this team. But if Dameon Pierce does make this team, I can make a case for him to make this team because he's on his 3rd offensive coordinator. And maybe Nick Caserio sees something in him that the other 2 offensive coordinators did. Excuse me. Maybe Bobby didn't see. Queena, you jumping ahead. You hold on for a second. Hold on 1 second. I'm coming to that. But maybe Bobby didn't see something in Dameon Pierce that Nick Caserio will. Then you got Dare, and then you drafted Woody Marks. You still have Jawar Jordan on the team. You still have British Brooks on the team. Like, you have other running backs on this team, young running backs who are trying to what's Taylor? I forgot because I don't want to leave him out. What JJ is it? JJ Taylor? Let me go and look right here. I forgot what Taylor's. Is it JJ Taylor? Let me just look right here. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, JJ Taylor. So you still got young running backs on the team that if you coach them up the right way, then they'll be able to do exactly what you need them to do. But you want to bring in Nick Chubb, right? Nick Chubb. This is not 2022 second team All-Pro Nick Chubb, y'all. It's not. This is tore his knee up in week 2 in 2023 Nick Chubb. This is broke his foot 6 months ago Nick Chubb. And the reason why I started off this show by talking about my injuries and how my partially torn Achilles led to multiple injuries on the same side of my body is because in 2015, Nick Chubb had a grade 3 MCL knee issue. That's 2015 on the right knee. On the same knee in 2020, he had a grade 2 MCL. And then in 2023, he tore the knee up. In 2024, he had a foot fracture. I don't know how we're not looking at that. And I'm just talking about the people who want Nick Chubb on this team? How long is Nick Chubb going to last if he comes on this team? Now, if they sign him on Monday, Tuesday, one of the first questions that will be asked to DeMeco Ryans when we're standing there in front of him after the mandatory minicamp practice will be, hey, why did you all sign Nick Chubb? Right? Why did you all sign Nick Chubb? And you signed him. Do you think that he's going to be a valuable asset to this team coming throughout the season? And if I had to guess, because I've been around DeMeco, this is going on 3 years that I've been around DeMeco Ryans. I'm pretty sure he's going to say something to the effect of he's going to bring him in and see how he works. You know, if they sign him, how he works in training camp and see how he gels and meshes with the team. And then, what happens, what happens after that happens after that. And that's what brought me to when I started hearing all these things, when I started hearing about the Houston Texans potentially signing Nick Chubb, it got me to thinking. And that's why the title of this podcast is Caserio playing chess again with potentially signing Chubb? This is the exact same thing that Nick Caserio did last season with Cam Akers. You all remember Cam Akers was without a job. Cam Akers has sustained injuries. Nobody had really signed Cam. I mean, nobody had real true interest in Cam Akers. He came to Houston and started working out, and the Houston Texans got wind of it. And then after they got wind of it, they said, okay, let us go see. And then they brought him in, and then he made the team. And then after he made the team, guess what? Now he's a valuable asset. What the Houston Texans did was showcase that Cam Akers could still play. And then Nick Caserio traded him to the Minnesota Vikings for it traded him and a 2026 conditional 7th round pick. And they got back a 2026 conditional 6th round pick. So in all actuality, this could just be in all actuality, this could be a showcase, a job interview, Nick Chubb showing that he's still available and that he still got it. Because I don't see what the Houston Texans would be able to do with the older running back like Nick Chubb. I don't even know how effective Nick Chubb would be as a 1-year rental, knowing that the past 2 seasons he's had injuries, coming off a major injury, and then he broke his foot. Coming off a major injury in 2023, and then lasting until December 2024, and then he got hurt again. So this may be they may be helping out Nick Chubb more than they need Nick Chubb. Because I'm going to tell you like this, right? I'm going to give you all a little preview of what I talked about on, for those of y'all who are watching me live right now on the YouTube channel and on Twitter. I'm going to give you all a little preview of what I talked about on Sports Sunday with Randy McIlvoy and Aaron Wilson. So we were talking about running backs, right? We were talking about running backs. And I said, I could see Woody Marks getting a lot of run with the Texans. I could potentially see Woody Marks backing up Joe Mixon. And the reason why I said that is because Woody Marks has this intangible that stands out from the other running backs that are competing for that spot, for competing for number 2 or number 3. Woody Marks' ability to be able to catch the ball out of the backfield, his ability to catch makes him a very valuable asset for the Houston Texans offense. It gives CJ Stroud another option. So if he can't get the ball to Nico Collins, if he can't get the ball to Jaden Higgins, if he can't get the ball to Christian Kirk, if he can't get the ball to Dalton Schultz, then guess what? If Woody Marks is in the game to give Joe Mixon a relief, then he could hit him out of the backfield. Not only is he a very effective and efficient runner, he can catch. What's up, Marcus? He can catch. And so that kind of lends to him being able to stand out a little bit more than the other running backs that are on the roster. that are fighting for that number 2 and that number 3 position. Now, Woody Marks also has to be able to learn how to play in the NFL, and that's easier said than done. A lot of people think that you can just come in to the NFL and just jump right into it because you have these exceptional rookies that come in and play off the charts. But he's playing a position where he not only has to know what everybody is doing, just like what the quarterback knows, but he also has to be able to run the ball. He has to be able to catch the ball. He has to be able to block. Like there's other things that he has to do, and he has to learn that within the realm of the NFL, because that becomes so much more different than playing in college. And so if I'm Nick Caserio, if I'm D'Amico Ryans, I'm saying, okay, so if we bring in Chubb, right? If we bring in Chubb and we showcase him like we did Cam Akers, if we use the exact same blueprint, that's why I say, is Caserio playing chess? If we use that exact same blueprint that we used with Cam Akers, what can we get for it down the line? Because we was able to bring Cam Akers in and we got us a better draft pick out of it. What are we going to be able to get for Nick Chubb? If we can come in here and showcase Nick Chubb, let him play in a couple of these preseason games, hold on to him about the first 2 weeks of the season, and then see what we can get for him. So that's all I'm saying. Been to church, 3 church services today, just got home from church. Marcus, I didn't know you were at the church like that. But with that being said, from a performance standpoint, I don't know what you're going to get from Nick Chubb. I don't. From a performance standpoint, I don't. Like I said, if I'm not mistaken, he's 29 years old. I think he turns 30 in December. What is the shelf life for a running back? What is the shelf life for a running back that has as many carries on his body as he has, with the running style that he has? I listen. I do believe that Nick Chubb is a very, very good person. I do believe that Nick Chubb, older Nick Chubb, I'm talking about, the past Nick Chubb, I think that he was one of the running backs that I really like to watch. I'm telling you right now, I love to watch Nick Chubb run. 2022, Nick Chubb was unstoppable. Unstoppable. Oh, you go there with AC? Oh, man, I ain't know you. You tell AC you know me, Marcus? But Nick Chubb was unstoppable. And now, what are you going to get from him? 2 injuries, 1 catastrophic one. Now you're going to bring him in. And so now what is Nick Cayley supposed to do with that? Nick Cayley is a first year offensive coordinator. He's a first-time play caller. He's like, hey, look, man, I'm trying to implement this thing so we can do things down the line. I don't really want to bring in a rental. And if we are going to bring in a rental, then let's go get us a really good rental. Listen, I know how people like to run to the car lots and run to the dealerships, and buy these brand new cars. I understand you want to get, you get a brand new car, and some of these pre-owned cars, you're like, hey man, I want to go and I want to get that. But sometimes, man, sometimes you go and you get you one of these cars, one of these pre-owned cars. You go get you one of these pre-owned cars. You're going to get you one of these cash cars, and whatever happened with the previous owner, that car could be messed up. That car could be messed up. And you don't never know what you're getting. If you buying a cash car, if you're buying a pre-owned car, they'll tell you, oh, we put it through 3,800 pre-owned certified testing. This is just another. Yeah, true. But then 3 months later, now the transmission went out. It's all run by computers now. Now the computer has messed up because somebody then, and some of y'all don't know what this means. I gotta say this politically correct. You all know what I want to say, but I gotta say it this way. You've Jimmy rigged it. You've Jimmy rigged it to the point to whereas you got it enough so it could be sold. Is Nick Chubb good enough to be sold as a pre-owned vehicle with a lot of issues? You never know when one of those issues are going to, arise. And now, you're paying for the car, but you bought it as is. Like you're buying it as is. And that's what I feel like the Houston Texans are going to do. I feel like that's what the Houston Texans may be getting into if they sign Nick Chubb. He's as is, and maybe you're bringing him in long enough, and maybe you can repair him and keep him long enough to sell him to another person who want that type of vehicle. I mean, like I said, he's 2 years removed from being second team All Pro. So that's the equivalent to going out and finding you a nice, he'd be like, hey man, what year is that Mercedes right there? It's a 2022. You're gonna get in 2025. Yeah. It has some issues, man, but we fixed it. We fixed it. It had some issues, but we fixed it. All right. I'll take it. It come as is now. No warranties. It come as is. So when you take it off this lot, it's yours. When you take it off the lot, it's yours. So when you buy that as is, and you get it home, and then 3 months later, there's a problem, and then you go back and you say, hey man, this car, like you told me it had an issue, but you said y'all had fixed it. I mean, we fixed it for the time. So is Nick Chubb, even if he comes in and he passes a physical, is he healthy enough to be a backup to Joe Mixon? Are you comfortable? Houston Texans fans, let me ask you a question. Last year, Joe Mixon missed some games, right? Joe Mixon missed some games with some injuries. Y'all remember that? Remember Joe Mixon? He got illegally hip tackled was that the second quarter of the Chicago game? And then he was out for a minute. Hold on. Y'all give me a second. Y'all know how we do it right here on the Texans Tailgate Talk podcast. We don't just go and just, talk out the side of our patooties. We go and we get the facts. We go and get the facts. I thought, you know what? I'm glad I talked to him. I thought that was Xavier Johnson the other day. I thought that's exactly who that. I said, wait a minute, that's Xavier Johnson. He's a wide receiver for the Houston Texans. Y'all give me 1 second. I have to talk about that. Yeah. Now let me get this. Let me get these stats up here. Right. So yeah. Yeah. So last year, remember, Joe Mixon missed 3 games after he got hurt in the Bears game. He missed the Vikings game, he missed the Jaguars game, and then he missed the Bills game. And so are y'all confident enough to believe that with Joe Mixon out, are you confident that Nick Chubb can start? No matter what you pay for him. No matter what you pay for him. Do you believe that he can start and be effective? Because the only thing that you're going to take me back to is when in 2022, when Nick Chubb was, when Nick Chubb was tearing it up. Hold on. Let me go in there. Okay, here we go. Let me see. All right. Yeah. Last year. So 2022, when he made second team All Pro, Nick Chubb played in 17 games. He had 302 attempts, 1,525 yards, and 12 touchdowns. How many? What did he have receiving? He had 27 receptions, 239 yards, and 1 touchdown. In 2022, he averaged 5 yards a carry only played in 2 games in 2023. In 2024, he played in 8 games and he averaged 3.3 yards per carry. Now, let's go on. Let's look at the game logs real quick. All right, Sarge, go up and find the game logs. Game logs for the last time Nick Chubb played, 2024. Right? So he did not play because he was coming off that horrific injury. He's coming off that horrific injury to his knee. So he missed the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. He came in he started in week 7, right? Out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. Out of 8 games, he only carried the ball. His highest attempts was 20 attempts. The most yards he rushed for was 59 yards. How many touchdowns did he have? 3. So in Pittsburgh, he went off. He had 20 attempts for 59 yards and 2 touchdowns. So am I missing something? And then, of course, he didn't play in week 15, 16, and 17. So am I missing something? What am I missing? Like I said, I'm not. I don't want you all to be. Oh man, Sarge is over here just taking a dump on Nick Chubb. No, Sarge is over here talking reality. Sarge is over here talking facts. Because the one thing that I see that happens a lot with not only the Houston Texans fan base, but it happens a lot with other fan bases as well, is that when a big name is on the market, no matter what their play is like now, no matter how ineffective they may be, you're looking at the name instead of looking at the production. You know what I like to say about that? That's when you start looking at the selfie instead of looking at the panoramic view. The selfie of Nick Chubb may look amazing, but what does the panoramic view look like? Like you're looking at the name Nick Chubb, but Nick Chubb hasn't been Nick Chubb since 2022. Well, Sarge, he hurt himself in 2023. Okay, injuries happen, right? Come back in 2024. He finally gets an opportunity. He played in 8 games, and he still didn't produce. And then he broke his foot. And so, and once again, you want me to believe that, hold on. Yeah. Nick Chubb turns 30 this year. You want me to believe that a 29-year-old running back is going to come back from the amount of injuries that they have sustained, that the amount of injuries that he has sustained, and be effective? And what are you looking for? What are you looking for in Nick Chubb that you don't think that you can get in Woody Marks? I'm asking because I honestly and truly don't know what it is you expect from a guy who has had these injuries. And like I told you, he messed up the same knee 2015, 2020, and then he tore it in 2023. And then those knee injuries caused him to I don't want to say cause because I'm not a medical doctor. I only play one on television. I love House. I love watching that television show House. So, hey, look, I used to watch Trapper John MD. Some of y'all are too young to remember who that is. But with that being said, I can't say because I'm not a medical doctor, right? I can only speak from experience. But if he messed up the right knee in 2015, he messed up the right knee in 2020, he messed up the right knee in 2023, then in 2024, he broke the right foot. What are we talking about here? You don't see a pattern? So what are you going to get from him? Like I said, I wouldn't care if they signed Nick Chubb, if they signed Nick Chubb to free Papados and Whataburger for the rest of his life. No. How many snaps are you giving him? What are you bringing him in for? And once again, Nick Caserio could be using the exact same playbook. He could be using the exact same playbook he did with Cam Akers. Get him in, a running back that some people may have interest in to see what he can do, just like they did with Cam Akers. They showed, hey, Cam Akers still got something left in the tank, and then they were able to get get a draft pick for him. They may be doing that same thing with Nick Chubb, and if Nick Chubb can come in here and just show some resemblance of 2022. You may be able to get 2 draft picks for him. But if you're bringing him in and you're saying you're going to be the backup to Joe Mixon, then how many carries do you plan on giving him? And are you confident enough to have him start if Joe Mixon gets hurt? That's the one thing that people aren't taking into account. Because the last time you seen a truly highly effective running back in Nick Chubb was 2022. 2022. It's almost 3 years ago. So I don't understand. Maybe y'all got answers for me. Maybe y'all know more than what I know. Maybe you all, because there are a lot of football savants out there. There's a lot of people who study the game just like I do, but maybe you have a different view on it. And if so, hey, let me know. Let me know. Tell me what you think. Tell me how you feel about it. Comment, comment, and subscribe to the Texas Tailgate Talk podcast on YouTube. All one word. You let me know. Now, I'm going to end this show. Let me make sure that give me a second. I'm about to end this show, but I'm going to come back for the Texans fans and supporters of the Texas Tailgate Talk podcast. I'm gonna come back. I ain't forgot about y'all. Y'all don't go nowhere. Y'all stay right there. I gotta end this show, and then I promise you, we'll be after these messages. We'll be right back. You've been tuning into the Texas Tailgate Talk podcast. I'm your host, Big Sarge. Make sure you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Follow me on the Tick and the Talk at Big Sarge Media. Make sure you subscribe to the Texas Tailgate Talk, all one word, podcast and YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Because we do everything for the gram. And make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, because this week will be a lot of content coming out from mandatory mini camp. Big Sarge, I'm out.
Big Sarge.
All right. I'm back. Hold on, y'all. Give me a second. Let me get myself back up here. Y'all know I wasn't just gonna leave y'all like that, right? Well, we ain't going nowhere like that. Let me get back into these comments. Let me see what we got over here. Let me see what we got. First of all, thank you all for joining me. I really do appreciate that. Y'all know we had to come on here and talk about something. Let's see what Brandon talking about. They kicked the can down the road and left. Become someone else's problem. I'm shocked. Yeah. Well, what's the probability? We're gonna look. I'm gonna find out. I'm definitely gonna try to find out. Yep. So are you saying the same thing? I was just talking to my dad about Chubb is older, coming off a major injury. Exactly. And this is what I was talking about, Queen. I said we're gonna get to it. Exactly. And that's what we got to. They did all right with Cam Akers, but I don't think he'll ever be as good as him. Yep. Sideline Sarah said if it's mixed, Chubb, DP, and Woody. Whew. I'm gonna have more information for y'all here a little bit later on. I'm gonna probably have some more information for you all on on Monday. And I'm talking this is so and then I'm not talking about if they're gonna sign Chubb or not, if he passes his physical or not. That's something that you're gonna have to get from like Jonathan Alexander from the Houston Chronicle, from Aaron Wilson, like from those guys, from DJ Bieniemy from ESPN. That breaking news will come from those as far as the local media is concerned, and of course, the national media. That's not the information I'm searching for. The information I'm searching for, and the information that I need to know, is what is the interest? What is the interest, and what is, if it can be discussed, what is the long term plan? So, sideline Sarah, I don't know if that's where I would go with that. I don't know. I don't know. Let me see if I can DP needs to leave if we get Chubb. Let me ask you a question, Marcus. What does 2025 Nick Chubb do better than 2024 Damian Pierce? That's all I'm asking. I think signing Chubb is a win. I don't think it's a loss. That's exactly what I said. I think Woody Marks is a long-term plan in future because of he has the what you call it. Goodbye, Damian Pierce. See, that's the thing, right? What I need to know, and like AD and I talked about, this is what I need to know. I can make a case for Damian Pierce being cut. I can also make a case for Damian Pierce still being on this team. The case that I can make for him being cut is like, what does he bring to the table now that the Houston Texans don't have? Special teams was one of the reasons why they kept him. I'm sorry, not one of the reasons why they kept him, but special teams was one of the places that they were able to find for him to be able to have a spot. Now I feel like they got some players on there that can take his place on special teams, and so he would definitely have to stand out. But special teams is what kept his name pretty much relevant. And if you brought in somebody who could do that, and maybe he doesn't make this team. On the flip side, what can Nick Caley, like, we don't know what Nick Caley can do because we never seen Nick Caley do it. And so Nick Caley could come in and say, I have a role for Damian Pierce. Nick Caserio could say, or Nick Caserio and D'Amico Ryans could say, hey, let's get this young man another chance. We know he has the talent, and he's going into his third offensive system in his 4 years of being with the team. Like, this is his third offensive system. Like, that's a lot. I don't think a lot of people realize that. Like, that's a lot, having to learn. Look, he's only been, this is his 4th year. And now you're telling him everything that you learn. He finally learned what he needs to learn on the Bobby Slowick system. And now you tell him, hey, forget all of that. We got a whole new system coming in. And then his system, Nick Caley's system, may be designed for a running back like Damian Pierce. So I'm not willing to say that just yet. I want to see what's going to happen in training camp. And I'm pretty sure that there's a market out there for Damian Pierce if the Texans don't decide to keep him. House is boss. Hold on. That's true. You can't just look at the name. You have to look at the wear and tear. Exactly, Jay Adams. You have to look at the wear and tear on the body. Big names make the Madden team better. Real life, they have to be good. Exactly. Exactly. Hold on. I understand you. We went through the same thing with Ed Reed. Jay Adams. Hey, Jay Adams, I see that you're following me on YouTube. Hey, if you go to Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end, DM me on Twitter. DM me on Twitter. I'm buying you lunch on Monday. I'm buying you lunch, Jay Adams, because that's the perfect, perfect, perfect thing to say. Perfect. We all know what Ed Reed was. We all know who Ed Reed was. We all know who Ed Reed is to this day. Ed Reed was never going to be that with the Houston Texans. We knew everything that Ed Reed brought to the table when it comes to playing that safety position. Hell, I feel like Ed Reed can maybe give you about a quarter if you spread it out. He can give you a couple of downs in the game right now, especially with how smart he is. But you're right. By the time Ed Reed got to the Houston Texans, and I feel like this is the exact same thing it's going to be with Nick Chubb. So I like to look at DP as number 2, Chubb, a short yardage red zone back, and Woody as a third down back. That's Texas tangent. That's true. But Joe Mixon is also a great short yardage back. Joe Mixon is also a good red zone back. I don't want to take Joe Mixon out of the game. Like, Joe Mixon is a very good red zone running back. So, hold on for a second. Let me see if I can get down here. I think DP stays and Dare is gone. Hey, Paul. Hey, true. Sell more tickets to what? Not too complicated. The Texans ain't got no problem selling tickets. They do not have an issue with selling tickets. And Nick Chubb ain't gonna sell it. Bringing Nick Chubb ain't gonna sell a couple of more single season tickets. Nah, I'm good on that. I think DP has another gear he can get to. Bobby still showed us he's not to be trusted. His inability to coach impacted more than just Stroud. Exactly. So Queena says DP might be in it for breakout year under a new scheme. That's true. See what Christopher Austin said. I've been pining for Chubb since the offseason. He's the type of running back to get stronger as the season goes on. I liked him over JK. But Christopher, let me ask you a question, right? Let me ask you a question. And thank you for tuning in to the show. So you say he's the type of running back that gets stronger as the season goes on. Which now? Like, you think he can do that now? 2022? Yes. 2023, it's a wash. He got hurt, tore that knee up in 2 games. 2024, he's still rehabbing. They finally brought him back. He was ineffective. The most yards he rushed for was 59 yards. He had 3 touchdowns. He had 2 in 1 game. So getting stronger where? And how do you know how healthy he actually is? How do you know? How can you push to the side that knee injury may have caused that foot injury, and that foot injury may cause something else in 2025? That's all I'm asking. Oh man, I'm telling you, Jay Adams, I gotta write that down. Ed Reed and Amon Green. I forgot all about Amon Green. Exactly. The fresher Mixon is, the better it'll be for the team. But you got running backs that can spell Joe Mixon right now. I was leaning towards Dobbins, but it really depends on the price to me. Okay. Damian Pierce was a backup almost his whole college career for a reason. Wait a minute, not too complicated. Timeout. Hold on for a second. Damian Pierce, and I'm not going to say that, with the bulk of the carries would have been amazing. But I think we're talking about a running back that every 7 carries that he did have, he scored a touchdown in his final year at Florida. But let's just look at, I don't think that this is fair to say this about Damian Pierce, because they were also running an inefficient offense. Like the offensive coordinator at the time, the head coach at the time, they had no clue on what they were doing. Like go and listen to people talk about the Florida team during that time, and you'll see how bad that Florida team was. That Florida team was horrible. That running back by committee was horrible. Like they couldn't get nothing going. So I'm not here to say that Dameon Pierce would have been amazing, but I don't know what Dameon Pierce. I mean, I don't know. It's 50-50. Oh man, y'all got some great comments in here, man. We just need to know how to use them. Chubb gonna see that Adrian Peterson. Brandon, I'm glad you said that. Hot dang on it. I got that written down right here. I ain't gonna even lie to you. I got that written right here. Chubb is not Adrian Peterson. Chubb is not. And listen, let me tell you all something, right? Let me tell you all something. I know that Ryan Coogler wrote the movie the Black Panther, right? I know that he wrote the movie Black Panther about a fictitious place in Africa that had this this special mineral that they had that was indestructible, right? Vibranium. Adrian Peterson is the true Black Panther. Can't nobody tell me no different. Adrian Peterson is the real Black Panther. No possible way you can tell me that with the way that man was able to come back from injuries, that he didn't have vibranium in his system. Nick Chubb doesn't have that. Adrian Peterson got it. Like, I listen, I know what is his nickname. All day, no, we're not. His name is Black Panther. The spirit of the Black Panther resides in Adrian Peterson. Because he gets hurt and he comes right back. That man has vibranium in his system. Nick Chubb ain't got that. Now, if Nick Chubb was able to acquire some of that vibranium from Adrian Peterson, that'd be one thing, right? If I'd have seen him bounce back in 2024 from that horrific knee injury that he had in 2023 and came in and just tearing the league up, I'd be like, that young man got some Adrian Peterson in him. He got some Adrian Peterson. I ain't see that. I ain't see that. He need to go to Wakanda like Michael B. Jordan did and get some vibranium. Hey, auntie. Oh man, that's amazing. Yeah, he ain't got that vibranium. David Johnson, that's another one. Hey, wasn't David Johnson when David Johnson was in Arizona? Was David Johnson never on the cover of hold on. David Johnson on the cover of Madden? Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. Was he on the cover of Madden? Y'all give me a second. Oh, maybe okay. Maybe not. I thought David Johnson was I thought they was trying to put him on the cover of Madden. Y'all give me a second. Well, they got some nice names. You know what? That's probably why I knew that there was some insignificant guy that they had put on the front of Madden. I remember this is probably the worst Madden ever. 2012. Hold on for a second. Hey, without Googling, can y'all remember who was on the cover of Madden in 2012? Give me a second. Can y'all, yeah. Do y'all remember? Don't Google. Don't Google. Don't worry, I'll tell you. Peyton Hillis. Peyton Hillis was on the cover of Madden in 2012. Some of y'all don't even know who Peyton Hillis is. Jesus. This is horrible. Let me ask you a question, right? Before I get ready to get off here. Hold on for a second. Chubb gonna show what he got. It's gonna be that. Which Georgia? The one in America or the one across the water? You talking about like Georgia? Like where are we talking about the same Georgia where T.I. from? Two Chains, Outkast, Young Thug. We talking about that one? Gucci Mane, Waka Flocka. There's no possible way you're talking about like Georgia. You got to be talking about the Georgia from across the water. Marcus, no possible way. He made me forget my thought. What I was gonna ask. Yes, Peyton Hillis, the 1 year wonder. Exactly. Let me see. We have a bull ringing in. There's a big pile of Bush players that were great. Then they came here. Exactly. I still think British Brook is gonna solve something this year. That could be too. Nick Chubb is better than Damian Pierce. 2022 Nick Chubb is. You don't know what 2025 Nick Chubb is. You don't know what 2025 Nick Chubb is. You don't know what 29-year-old coming off of major knee injury, coming off of a broken foot Nick Chubb is. You don't know. You don't. You just don't. So I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't see it. And if I'm wrong, y'all know I'll come right back on here. And what's up, Lou? Lou the fool. Lou the fool. Lil fool. And listen, if I'm wrong, y'all know. Listen, I don't know how other people are, right? I don't know how other people are, as far as this content creators, this and the people who talk about the Texans. I don't know anything about that, but what I do know is that if I'm wrong, I'll come right back in and say, "Hey, y'all, guess what? I was wrong. I was wrong. Nick Chubb is the man, if he's the man." But I'm going to go with. I'm going to err on the side of caution right now. I'm going to err on the side of caution and say, I don't know. And ask yourself this question. Ask yourself this question, Texans fan. This is what I was going to talk to you. I mean, ask you this question before I got ready to get up off here. Before Marcus started talking about Georgia. Oh, he's going to be like the Georgia Nick Chubb. Like that's Georgia. Hey, where Georgia is? He talking about that Georgia across the water. He's not talking about cell therapy. You know, I mean, yeah. He not talking about not cell therapy. What's the CeeLo Green was in? What's the name of that group? Goody Mob. He not talking about Goody Mob. He not talking about organized. You're not talking about that. Yeah, hell, you ain't even talking about. You ain't talking about Soldier Boy, Georgia. Like I don't even know. Like I digress. So let's just say the Texans do sign Nick Chubb. And let's just say that the Texans make Nick Chubb the backup to Joe Mixon heading into the regular season. And then let's just say that Nick Chubb stays healthy for the entire year. Joe Mixon stays healthy for the entire year. And he's backing up. He's always the one that's backing up Joe Mixon, right? Nick Chubb's always, all right? So let's push Dare to the side. Let's push Damian Pierce to the side. And then are you stunting the growth now of your young running backs in Woody Marks, in Jawar Jordan, in British Brooks, in JJ Taylor? Are you stunting their growth by them not getting the opportunity to get some game time? And some of those running backs may not even make the team. But if they do make the team, and if they do make the practice squad, and with an opportunity for them to come up, if something was to happen to Joe Mixon, given the opportunity for one of them to come up to be able to get some playing time, But now you have Nick Chubb that you're only going to use for a 1 year rental. Now you're 1 year, one more year behind trying to develop your young running backs. How does Woody Marks develop if the Texans sign and use Nick Chubb for the regular season? If the Houston Texans sign Nick Chubb, make him the backup running back to Joe Mixon. Some will argue and say, well, he's just a rookie. So you put him in there, you let him sit back and you let him watch the game. Cool. I understand that. Then come that following year, then you bring him as the backup as Joe Mixon gets another year older. Joe Mixon has another however many carries he has on his body, right? And then the last thing I'm gonna say is this, right? Well, hold on for Nick Chubb go be like Bulldogs, Nick Chubb. What Bulldogs? You know what? I ain't gonna even do it because I don't want to make it seem like I'm disrespecting Nick Chubb, because I'm not disrespecting Nick Chubb. I'm truly speaking from a reality standpoint. That's all I'm doing. All I'm speaking from is a reality standpoint, right? And so got that college. How was DP hurt again? Well, I mean, they all got little, and Sideline Sarah asked that. Yeah, they all got these little nagging injuries. They all got these little nagging injuries that they're gonna do. Chubb is insurance in case Mixon gets hurt. And what type of insurance is this? You know what? Not too complicated. I don't know where you're from. But if you're from Texas, and if you're from Texas, you know, in the state of Texas, all you gotta have is liability, right? Like you really gotta have full coverage insurance. All you gotta have is liability. Nick Chubb is liability. He's not full coverage. He's just liability. He's just enough to satisfy the state mandate that you have to have insurance. That's it. In the state of Texas, right? In the state of Texas, all you have to have is liability. If Chrissy, come in for a second, please. Ask my wife. She's a personal injury attorney. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna ask her. She probably mad as hell at me because she's watching the game. Game on. I know. Like I said, she probably mad as hell at me. She watching the game. Chrissy, in the state of Texas, all you have to have is liability insurance to meet the state requirements of having insurance, right? And with the liability, all that means is that if you hit somebody, your insurance company is going to pay. Going to pay them if it's your fault, right? Liability and full coverage are two different things. But in the state of Texas, you have to have liability insurance. Okay. That's all I need to know. Full coverage is a what? Really? There's somebody talking about Chubb is insurance in case Mixon get hurt. That's like having liability. That's not even having like, hey, what's that insurance? If we hit somebody and they don't have insurance, right? What's the kind of coverage we got on ourselves? We got underinsured motors. So that's what the Texans need to get. The Texans need to get underinsured for Nick Chubb and an umbrella policy. And safe light repairs, safe light replace. That's how they come replace the windshield, right? Okay. What are we talking about here? The Texans must know Woody can't be trusted to pass protect. Not too complicated. They only been in OTAs. What are we talking about? He's only been in OTAs. We don't know if we're gonna see in training camp. Chubb is insurance. Yeah, liability. Exactly. If he does okay in preseason, we don't get a chance to see DP perform. Fans are gonna freak out when we trade him like acres. That's exactly what I said. Oh, what, Madden? Oh man, hold on. I'm not mad at bringing competition in. I want the best players out there. And D'Amico said he's not waiting. Yeah, but I don't know. Is Nick Chubb competition? 29-year-old Nick Chubb coming off of 2 injury-filled seasons where he's only played a combined, 10 games? He's played a combined 10 games. Is he really competition? If they get 2022, the 2022 version, if they get 75%, let me just say that, sideline Sarah. If they can get 75% of 2022 Nick Chubb, I'm all for it. Do it. Sign me up. I'm all in. But it got to be at least 75%, right? It got to be at least 75%, right? My phone will operate at 25% battery life, but it ain't as effective as it is with 75%. 25%, I can still use the phone. But it's letting me know, hey, bro, I'm not going to be around here too much longer. I don't know how, if you don't get me to a charger, I don't know how much I got left. What's up, Tay? How's it going? Chubb is the club that you throw on the steering wheel to make sure your car doesn't vanish. Brandon, where you from? Because I got some partners I can get on the phone right now to tell you how to get around that club. I ain't always been saved, sanctified, and filled with Crown Royal Apple. Don't get it twisted. I know some people who know some people that's got away with some people. If Chubb makes the team, cool. If he's be good. Exactly. Sarah, I'm glad you said this. That's going to be my last and final point, so we can get out here and go watch this this NBA finals. Let me look, y'all. What is the score of this finals right now? What is the score of this finals that's going on? Ooh, OKC putting BTA. Oh, OKC BTA to the Pacers. But if the Pacers get out there with a split, they still doing good. So Sarah said, I mean, they signed Trent Brown. No disrespect to Trent, but they did it for a reason. That brings me to my last and final point. Something's wrong with my eye. Do you all think that the Houston Texans have a sustainable offensive line that can keep Nick Chubb or prevent Nick Chubb from getting hurt again? Do you think that the Houston Texans have enough on the offensive line for Nick Chubb, who's going to be coming in and who's going to be learning? He's going to be on a brand new team, brand new offense, new offensive lineman. You think the Houston Texans have enough on the offensive line to make Nick Chubb keep him upright? Hell, a better question is, how good do you think this offensive line is going to be for Joe Mixon? Joe Mixon is able to get himself out of trouble. We've seen it on multiple occasions where he's able to get himself out of trouble. Last season, when the Houston Texans had one of the worst offensive line. How confident are you in the Texans offensive line this year? How confident are you in the running game? Because what you're telling me, and those people who say sign Nick Chubb up, they want Nick Chubb. You got a young man that's coming off these injuries, and now you're going to put him behind this. Hell, the Texans don't even know what they're going to do at offensive line yet. What if I told you all? There's only one thing that we know about the Houston Texans offensive line, and that's Titus Howard is going to start somewhere. Titus Howard is going to start somewhere on the line. That's the only certainty that you have about this Houston Texans offensive line. Everything else is a crapshoot. And now you're going to bring in, and you want Nick Chubb to be 2022 Nick Chubb, and you want him to run behind Cam Robinson. Hell, y'all don't even know what Cam Robinson is going to do yet. You don't know what Laken Tomlinson is going to do. Side note, let me see how to pronounce this dude. How do you pronounce? I can't pronounce Tommy's last name. The defensive tackle, Tommy Taga. Oh shoot! I have to get my other paper that got his name on there. Tommy T, number 72. Told Lakin Tomlinson ass up in OTAs. It's another story for another time. But you don't know what you got in Cam Robinson. You don't know what you got in Lakin Tomlinson. You're getting Jared Patterson. You got Juice Scruggs, but then you got Ed Ingram. You're going to get Trent Brown back. You got Blake Fisher. Because if the Houston Texans are still trying to figure it out, if the Houston Texans, are still trying to figure it out as far as the offensive line is concerned, then what do you think is going to have to happen in that running game? Joe has run behind a bad offensive line. He did that last year and made the Pro Bowl. So you can count on him being able to make something out of nothing. You're asking a running back that you haven't seen be highly effective in 2 years to come in and play behind this offensive line that you don't even know what it's going to be. Now, if the Texans are signing Nick Chubb as a chess piece, like I said, if Nick Caserio is going to use that Cam Akers blueprint, then I understand. If they're bringing Nick Chubb in here because they see a lot of Nick Chubb and Woody Marks, and they want to bring Nick Chubb in here so he could help develop Woody Marks, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. If Nick Chubb is going to come in and be the big vet for Woody Marks and help develop him, I'm all for it. But I'm not for it right now. I'm not for Nick Chubb coming in being the backup running back to Joe Mixon. I'm not. I'm not. Some of you all who on here, you're single, right? You're single. You know, you run across somebody in 2025 that you used to like, hell, that you could have even dated. You dated him in 2022. In 2022, he or she was the bomb.com.org.net. Best thing since sliced bread. Cool drink of water. Well, you seen them in 2022, you just like, oh, man, I cannot. Then 2 years go by, and then you see him in 2025, and you be like, that's interesting. I mean, maybe with some work, I can get him or her back to the way she used to look in 2022. That's gonna take a lot. I don't know if I can get them back to. They done been through some things. They done been through life. How can I keep looking at them? I don't want to keep looking at them, the 2025 version of them. I don't want to keep looking at the 2025 version of them through 2022 glasses. And that's the problem. That's what a lot of you all are doing. You're looking at 2025 Nick Chubb with 2022 glasses on. You need a better prescription. Up your prescription. Stop looking at this name. Stop looking at this name, because I guarantee you that if his name wasn't Nick Chubb, the first thing that you all would have been throwing up was his injury history. If his name would have been David Johnson, Trent Marks, whatever, and any other running back that you all might name that doesn't have the big name or have that all-pro season behind their name, anybody else but Nick Chubb, you'd have been saying, what? And you watched him in 2023, you watched him in 2024 and 20, like I said, 2023, 2 games, like 8 games in 2024. If this had been anybody else, we wouldn't even be having this discussion. And now you want to bring in this guy not knowing you don't even have your stuff together on the offensive line yet. One thing you do know is that a healthy Joe Mixon knows how to find a hole. He knows what he needs to do. Right? You know what? It reminds me. What is the running back's name? Kareem Hunt? Is that who I'm thinking about? Am I thinking about Kareem Hunt? Give me a second. I think that's who I might be thinking about. Where are you, Kansas City Chiefs? The Kansas City. Going to Kansas City. Kansas City, here I come. Offense. What's he? He was on that last year, wasn't it? There you go. So y'all looking at Nick Chubb like the Chiefs looked at Kareem Hunt. And then he was like, oh yeah. Oh, okay. Kareem Hunt out all 2023. Wasn't on the roster the first 2 games, then went from Cleveland to Kansas City practice squad. Then he came. He had 2 100-yard rushing games. He had 102 against New Orleans and 106 against Tampa Bay. And then after that, 35, 60, 68, 15, 16, 45, 55, 20. Back in the day, Kareem Hunt was a monster. 2017 Kareem Hunt was a monster. 2018 Kareem Hunt, even in 11 games, was a monster. 2020 Kareem Hunt with Cleveland, monster. I just don't see it. I just don't. I don't. Y'all tell me. Maybe I'm wrong. And I don't have a problem with being wrong. But there's no possible way, unless Nick is using Chubb as a chess piece in order to get draft picks from another team to trade him. I can see that. Or if he's coming to develop Woody Marks, help develop Woody Marks, be his big vet. Other than that, I can't see it. I don't even know why they would go. I don't even know why they would get him. Hold on for a second. Let me read these last little bit, and then I'm gonna get up out of here. It's more likely like Jimmy is going to take him out of minicamp. Yeah, Jimmy coming back with a vengeance. They got a lot of bodies on the O line to find the right combo. Front runner, you're right. They got a lot of bodies to try to find the right combination. And it's going to take all training camp to find the right combination. So if you're going through these things, you're steady trying to find these combinations, and you still trying to get Nick Chubb acclimated to these combinations, then you're putting yourself behind the 8 ball. At least, from my opinion. To that point, it sounds like Chubb may be the one needing insurance coming to the Texans. Yeah. It's not that Larry Thompson is going to have a chance to have true leadership and not too complicated. I think you trolling me now. Now you're trolling me. I got it though. Hey, I like him too. I didn't have the confidence in last year's running game during their offseason. This year, I see more experience and competition. So, Texas Tangent, let me ask you a question, though. You see more true experience, but what the competition? I'm still trying to figure this out because I have not seen these guys, and I'm not going to get much out of minicamp, so I got to wait till training camp. But a lot of these guys, man, coming from their former teams aren't. I mean, Ed Ingram got benched for ineffectiveness. Cam Robinson was great when he first got to Minnesota, but hell, He's having nightmares probably. I don't know this for a fact. I'm just saying this, just making this as a joke. But he's probably having nightmares knowing that they got to play the Los Angeles Rams first. He got to go up against Jared Verse again if he starts at left tackle. What happened last time he seen Jared Verse? I mean, you tell me your greatest Laken Tomlinson last. Like I don't want to knock these guys. I'm not saying that I'm knocking these guys, and I'm not talking about them saying I think that they're terrible. I'm telling you, I don't know. Because they can get with Cole Popovich and they could become the best offensive line in the league. They could. But I can only talk about that when it's time to talk about that. What I'm talking about right now is I just don't see it. I don't see it. Trip Brown, I don't see it. I don't. He definitely gonna have to put some more weight on. He definitely is, Sarah. Nick Chubb was gonna score more than anyone in that running back room on April 4th. He's dang. Exactly, Queena. Hey, he should. Marcus has got some great barbecue places in the city of Houston, and great Mexican food places too. So give me a second. Give me a second. Because I don't know about locking them down. I mean, they played a good game against the Texans. They played a good game against the Texans. It's a lot of short field. The offense put the Texans on the field a lot. I didn't know the Texans had 4 sacks that game. Oh, that's when Tim Settle Jr. went off. Sarah, I'm gonna have to go back. No, I got it. No, you don't have to. I got a way to go back and look, and I'll definitely take a look. I don't think Cam Robinson like locked him down, and even if like I said, when he first got there, he looked good, and as the year went on, he did not look good. So, yeah. Thank y'all for tuning in to the Texas Tailgate Talk show. I'll be right back here with my new sponsor for Texans Happy Hour on Monday, Big Sarge. I'm out.